Hi, welcome along to AFTV. Some breaking news regarding Eddie Nketiah. I was actually talking about him this morning on my Transfer Daily show, saying that the likelihood is that he's still going to be leaving Arsenal. And I was basing a lot of that on the fact that in the game yesterday in the Emirates Cup, he didn't play. He didn't even get onto the pitch at all. However, the breaking news today is all around his proposed move to Olympique Marseille. Fabrizio Romano reporting that Olympique Marseille are closing in on the signing of Ei Wahi. Ei Wahi of Lens. Remember, we saw him play. Very good player, very quick. He says, Fabrizio, that the agreement is very close. Olympique Marseille working on final details. They didn't want to match the 30 million euros package that Arsenal wanted for him. The green light has come from the player himself, Wahi, and it's going to be around about 25 million euros plus add-ons, 2 loans, and that is what the fee is going to be. And that means that Eddie Nketiah will not be joining Marseille, according to what Fabrizio Romano is saying, and will be staying, at least for the time being, at Arsenal. I've got Turkish with me. Give me your reaction to that news, because, as I said, I've been saying on my show for about the past week or so that it looks, for all intents and purposes, that he's going to Marseille. Marseille had a couple of bids rejected, but all the talk was that a compromise had been reached with Marseille. But this news, says basically that is not going to happen, and Eddie Nketiah is going to be staying.
Yeah. I mean, there's a thin line between getting what you believe is full value for the player and blowing a deal. And that's what it looks like we've done, because there's not going to be another team in the next 2 weeks that comes in with what we wanted of Marseille. We're going to have to settle for essentially maybe what Marseille offered last time out, or less, if we are going to, because we have to now. The evidence is there. No minutes yesterday. Maybe there was still hope he's going to go Marseille.
Well, they would have. They wouldn't have. They probably said, right, listen, it looks like you're going Marseille. We don't want to play you. We don't want you to get injured.
Yeah, but after making such a decision, we cannot keep him at the club now. The last few years, I've said we should have moved on from him anyway. We should upgrade on him, but there's been an air of Arteta trusts him. Arteta sees something in him, and Arteta's done similar with other players. But this time out, he's been on the transfer list. He's been close to a move. He agreed that move with another club, and now it's not happening. We need, in the next 2.5 weeks, to sort this out, because like I said, before knowing this, we need to move on from him. And this is not... Upgrading just Eddie is not the most important thing we need to do. It's one of a few things we still need to do. So the fact that this has fallen, by the wayside, that's not good news for us.
There's also been a lot of talk, hasn't there, been in this transfer window, that Arsenal are sort of looking to sell on certain players so that they can then get that money in to use it to go and buy other players. So we know that they're looking to bring in Marino, but probably for that attacking player that they're looking at, they were kind of counting on that money from Eddie Nketiah so that they could use that money to go and buy that wide player that they're looking for. But with this falling through now, that might scupper that whatever, that wide player they're looking at, that might scupper that deal as well.
It's gonna have an effect, Rob. At the bare minimum, it's gonna have an effect, because now that money became expected. I think Arsenal not playing Eddie any minutes. I think we expected to get this deal done. And when you expect something, you start planning ahead with the money you expect to come in. That's natural. So now it's not coming in, and we've got that player still on the books on 100k. It's something now we still need to sort out, but we've left it late anyway. That's why my disappointment so far in the window doesn't stem from just this. It's the fact that we've left it so late. Whether, player sales was always a thing this summer. It's not something we found out last week, but it only started last week with Emil Smith-Rowe.
You've got to get the right price for the player, haven't you?
Yeah, but again, Rob, what is the right price for Eddie?
Well, I'm asking you. What do you think?
I blame you. I actually blame you. You're a big percentage of why Edu thinks we can go out there and get 30 million. Yeah, I'm sure you must have spoken to him in LA or something and said, stick to 30 with Eddie, because you're one of the people that's in my ear about Eddie's value. Wahi is 21, I think, or 22. I forgot his age. He's probably shown more promise than Eddie. He's gone for less than what we want for Eddie. Why do we value Eddie at this price, at 25?
I'm asking you, what do you value him at?
Whatever. Just
No,
take
no,
it.
you can't do
I was
you
surprised we
can't.
got the 27 mil offer. I was surprised at that. Take that, because
You
that
can't
is
say
that is
just take whatever.
Okay.
So if someone comes in now and says 10 million for Eddie, you take it.
It had to be 10 million plus add-ons.
All right, someone comes in. All right, let me be more realistic. Someone comes in right now and says 18 million for Eddie.
We move. And that's
I
that's
disagree
their
with that.
fault though, Rob.
But I do think you've got to get the right price for players.
Yeah,
because
but you also don't overprice the player either. Otherwise, who says that's the right price?
Well, the compromise that they were saying they reached last week, right, was that it was going to be around about 25 million plus add-ons, taking it up to about, say, 27 million.
Yeah.
Which was, at that time, it was said that, Marseille would be up for that. But we started hearing rumblings this morning that Marseille are not happy still with that amount. I mean, they don't want to pay that much for him, so that's the reality. But when you see the prices, what some of these other players are going for, I remember Eddie Nketiah did break into the England team. Eddie Nketiah has scored hat-tricks in the Premier League. Eddie, right? Come on, he's got to be worth more than 20 million or, the ridiculous prices what Marseille were coming
That's
with.
far from ridiculous. 20 million should now be the fee where you're like, all right, enough is enough. We messed up by not taking the 27 from Marseille, but it's not as low as 13
Amari
million.
Hutchinson went for like 23 million.
He did. He's,
So come on, he's not a better player, right? He's not got a bigger body of work in what he's done to justify
but you know
him
what
going for
Hutchinson
that.
done? You know what he done? He went to another club, proved himself there, and the club wanted to sign him. Eddie went to Leeds, was back up to Bamford, and came back with his tail between his legs, and we kept him for another 4 years. It's different. You've got to take advantage of the opportunities given. He was given loan opportunities. It didn't work. He's been given opportunities in the side. The number 14, 100k a week, Rob. That's opportunities. How it's ended, how it's ending has to be a sale in the next 2 weeks. There's no way we can keep him, Rob.
Well,
so let's say we don't get the 22 million minimum that you want. What are you suggesting we keep him again?
Well, let me just say that there are other clubs that, we've heard have been interested in Eddie in the Premier League. One of those clubs, though, however, was Bournemouth, right? Bournemouth, of course, they've sold Dominic Solanke for 65 million to Tottenham. They, and Fabrizio Romano reporting this one today, exclusive, he says, Bournemouth submit an official bid for Brazilian striker Evan Nilsson to replace Solanke. The proposal has been rejected by Porto as they turned down another proposal from Nottingham Forest a few days ago. So even some of those teams that Eddie was being linked with, they're looking at other targets at the moment as well. So,
It's peak.
Listen, I feel if you don't get the right fee for him, you have to keep him there.
Yeah, that's detrimental to us then. And if we don't win the league come the end of the season, that will be one of the reasons
But you
why.
don't give away a player for nothing.
It's not giving away though, Rob. Get the deal done. Lower your expectations. I'm not talking about you. Yes, you as well.
Well,
but
you're
I
blaming
mean
me,
club.
innit?
You're one of the you, Laurie, like people like you. Edu's probably
I
watching
never known
it,
that before I
'cause
get him blamed
we
for
know
it.
Edu watches the channel. Yeah, he's probably watching you and Laurie speak about Eddie. He's thinking, right, he's worth 30 mil. But nah, Edu, listen
That is
to
the
me.
most, you know what, right? You come up with some outrageous stuff here. That one's the most outrageous
I'm
thing
blaming
you ever come up with.
Comment
Breaking
section.
news.
I lie. Tell me the truth. Is Robbie part of this or not?
Breaking news. Is that the most outrageous comment he's ever made since he's been on his channel? I mean, but let me just repeat the breaking news again. Olympique Marseille closing in on EI Wahi from Lens. According to Fabrizio Romano, agreement is very close. Olympique Marseille working on final details. They didn't want to match the 30 million euro package for Eddie Nketiah. They're with Turkish. They don't think he's worth that. Green light from the player. That's Wahi. And 25 million euros is going to be the fee plus add-ons offered to Lens, broken by Fabrizio Romano. Eddie Nketiah, where does he go from here? Does he stay at Arsenal, or is there still time for Arsenal to sell him before the end of the transfer window? There are clubs still looking for strikers. Or do we keep him? If the money is too high, do you believe that we should then keep Eddie Nketiah? Maybe we forget about a striker until at least January, keep Eddie Nketiah and go and see if we can move him out in January. What do you guys think? Want to hear from you guys in the comments. You've heard what Turkish has had to say about it. Want to hear from you guys, right? But that is the breaking news today. And remember, right here on AFTV, we keep you up to date with all that breaking news, and we're here every day with Transfer Daily. Turkish, thank you with your outrageous comments, right? And thank you to you guys, and we'll see you again soon.